Okay, so I was making the pull-apart sourdough rolls and pull-apart pretzel rolls kind of at the same time. So this video jumps right in. So I'm doing an introduction because otherwise it just wouldn't make any sense. So we're picking right up. I've made a 500-gram batch of dough the night before, 75% hydration. It's the next day. We've got cold dough and they've been portioned to 80-ounce portions. 80 ounce? No, man, what am I talking about? 80 grams. 80-gram portions, and now we're going to pre-shape them and then ball them, and we will turn them into pull-apart pretzel buns. This is a great little progression from sourdough pull-apart buns. It combines elements of that with also like how you would pre-shape pizza dough before you ball it. So kind of a combination of those two different recipes. So here we go. Let's make some pull-apart sourdough pretzel rolls. These, however, I'm going to rough shape them and then I'm going to knock the air out of them. So why would I waste my time rough shaping them if I'm going to take them and I'm going to ball them like this? Well, when we take these corners and we bring them together, it gives us a smooth presentation side versus just taking this chunk of dough and trying to ball it together. It'll end up with a lot of like weird seams that are trying to, you know, attach themselves to each other instead of, you know, me pulling them together and having like something like already like preformed to work with. So I'm going to rough shape these, kind of like, you know, same with pizza, and then I'll come back around and ball them all up. So let's see, we'll do one more together, and then I'll do the rest of them on my own. Otherwise, this would be a long, boring video. And when you cut the dough, like, let's see if I've got a good one here. Nah. Like this one has like a little bit of smooth side from, you know, just how it came out of the container. But for the most part, you're gonna have some pretty sticky dough. And I am not really flouring it unless I feel like I need to. And this is a good example when it's just like kind of sticking to me, right? So I'm gonna give it a little bit of flour. Just so the side that's on the work surface is not sticking too much. I still want to have enough sticky dough to be able to stick it to itself to get this little package formed up. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do the rest of these, and then we'll come back and we'll ball them. Okay, so I have sheet tray parchment paper with some flour on it, and I want to knock all the air out of these dough balls that I've pre-shaped, because these are going to be pretzel buns, pretzel pull-apart buns, dinner rolls. So I'm, you know, hand shaped like a C. I'm using this side of my hand to kind of push the dough around in a circle, and I'm essentially bringing the outside to the inside and tightening the ball, creating tension, just like when we shape our pizza dough. And for a pretzel, if we don't do this, they're gonna expand and get real big. So I wanna have kind of that tight crumb for a pretzel. I wanna knock all this air out of it. And I'm gonna let them sit here and they're gonna proof for a little bit, and then they will go in the refrigerator and let them kind of dry out and get a good skin on them. So I'm just rolling through these, I'm balling them up nice and tight. A little bit of flour just so they don't stick too much. And on my tray, I'm like spacing them apart because I don't want these to stick together yet. Eventually it will be a pull-apart type of situation when they're baked, and you know, you get to pull apart pretzel rolls. But right now, I want these to stay separate so that we can do the whole, you know, baking soda solution thing. If you get too much flour on your work surface, it will be hard to ball these. And let's see, a couple things I'm looking for here. I want the bottom to be closed. And let's see, I just did it. I have too much flour here, so I don't have any grip. There we go. So I'm pushing slightly downward, but mostly I'm, you know, using that side of my hand to bring it into a ball. And I just want the bottom, I'll show you, I want it to be closed versus having like a little opening in there. If there is an opening, if there is a little dimple, roll it just a little more, get it to close up. Otherwise, you know, these are just gonna expand. Here they are, all of the little dough balls that are gonna be pretzel pull-apart bread. I'm gonna cover these up They're gonna go in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna let them just kind of relax, dry out, get nice and cold so they're easy to handle. And I can't cook them right now anyway, I don't have time. But I want all those seams, you know, we made pouches and then we balled them nice and tight. I want them to really seal up so they don't like open up when I go and, you know, put them in this, you know, baking soda bath. So in about 2 hours. 2 hours, I'm gonna come back and we'll get these into some baking soda and bake them and do all the, we'll make pretzel pull-apart rolls. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, in this pot, I have 18 cups of water, 1 cup of baking soda. It's coming up to a boil right now because we're gonna bathe our pretzel rolls. And this is gonna give them, you know, more of that golden pretzel-y color and that flavor that, you know, you'd expect pretzel to taste like. It's gonna be different than if we were to use sodium hydroxide in water, which is, you know, sodium hydroxide creates more of a chemical reaction. It's lye that gives the pretzel that really mahogany color. The way we're doing it here, we don't have to handle, the oven's ready for pretzels. We don't have to handle a, you know, caustic chemical. You can order on Amazon. I have it. I'm just doing it this way because it's a little bit more user-friendly for people. You don't have to wear rubber gloves. You don't have to worry about getting a chemical burn. So we're using baking soda. It's like the watered-down version. Anyway, here are my little rolls that we shaped earlier. They've kind of sat down, flattened out, and they're ready to go. I'm going to do them in 3s. Yeah, I think we go in batches of 3, 4 batches of 3. I've got 12 of them. So the baking soda will try and fool you like it is right now. Like it looks like it's boiling, but it's really just fizzing. So I'm gonna give it just a minute here to come all the way up. I'm not looking to cook the rolls in the water. That is not the point. It's really all about flavor and color. 15 seconds, 20 seconds, kind of in and out. If you go too long, you don't get more flavor. You just get a tougher, like exterior, just from it getting so cooked in the bath. Okay, so we're boiling, not just fizzing. And I'm gonna put my rolls in face side, presentation side, smooth side, down into the water. Or, you know, seam side up, however your brain thinks of that. Let's see, can I get 4? I think so. So I'll do 3 batches of 4. And I've got a sheet tray, parchment paper, landing pad right here next to me, ready to go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll take them out in that order, the way they went in. And I'm just gonna flip them. Let the bottoms get some color too, or some bathing. And then I'm gonna put them on the tray. And once you set them down, you're kind of committed to what you're doing here. You can't really move these around. So set them how you want them here. And don't try and move them after they're on the tray. You really can't. All right, 4 more. My dough got a little sticky here. I was goofing around with something else. Making it cold does make it easier to work with, but if you get distracted by another project, then you get sticky dough. That's okay, we're gonna be just fine. And you know, you put cold dough in, it's going to take a second for the water to recover, but it's coming back up. If you were doing more batches of dough, you'd have to watch out that you don't overflow, boil over, that's the word, boil over your pot. Because all the flour will start to, you know, get crazy in here. And I'm trying to shake off most of my liquid off of the spider so I don't have like a lot of moisture on the pan. A little bit's okay, but I'm trying to get most of it off. And yep. Okay, one more time. All right, pretzels. We're going to butter these. I got some melted butter in this pot, and this could be a controversial step, but it makes pretzels that are done in this method with the baking soda bath just better. Makes them shine up real nice, makes them just taste a little bit richer, helps the salt to stick to them. That's how we like it. We like them this way. So I'm just brushing butter on enough to cover them, to coat them, but not so much that they're drowning or that I'm making like a greasy mess on the sheet tray. For this batch of pull-apart pretzel rolls, what have I got here for butter? Maybe 4 tablespoons of butter, more or less. And you can see I've left a little bit of space in between. I'm expecting them to expand a little bit. And this is how I landed them right off of right out of the bath. Like this is where I put them, this is where I wanted them. There was no adjusting them after that. Let's see. Use up all my butter. There we go. And salt, I'm just going to use kosher salt. If you have pretzel salt, like a bigger flake salt, go for it. This is good enough for me. It's what I have. I don't have pretzel salt. It's enough to, create those flakes of the salty sprinkles. A little bit of crunch, a little bit of salty pop. And I'm trying not to crush them up. I'm trying to maintain the flakes. All right. And trim down my paper so it doesn't block out any of my airflow. All right, 425. These will probably take about 22 to 28 minutes, depending on how dark you want them. So these are going in the oven. You'll see them when they come out. Okay, so these have been in for 26 minutes. I turned them 180 after about 18 or 20 minutes or so, and then just let them keep going. These look great. So if you can see, they've kind of expanded into each other a little bit, without like really turning into like a giant single loaf of bread, like my pull-apart. If you look at my pull-apart bread video, sourdough pull-apart bread, I like it when those all form together because it makes for a really interesting crust, like in the sides where it's real chewy. These, I want to have that pretzel-y flavor all the way around, and as much of it as I can get. I like they stick a little bit. The golden brown, has like that really kind of sharper, acidic pretzel flavor, and then the brown top has more of that caramely pretzel flavor. They're not shiny like they would have been if we did a lye bath. We did the baking soda method, and they come out really nice, and they have like a really good pretzel flavor. Not quite as strong as with the lye, but still really good. This is a very user-friendly way of starting to break into making pretzels. And with doing buns instead of like twisted pretzels, this is way easier to work with. So I would recommend trying this before you start trying to twist pretzels. I'm going to let these cool for about an hour, and then I can serve them with dinner. If you make these in the morning and you're going to have them with dinner hours and hours later, I'd reheat them in the oven at like 325 for like 15 minutes. I wouldn't want to get them crispy. I just want to get them warm inside, especially with like the butter that I brushed on top. Like there's all that fat. I want to, not have cold fat that has that heavy mouthfeel. I want to, have that soft, wonderful, rich buttery flavor. So toasting them is a good idea. So I'll let these cool, and then we'll take a look at a couple of them, and I already know what they're going to taste like. They're going to taste great. So I'll see you in an hour. Look at these cute little pretzel buns. Let's see, I've just been toasting them up at like 325. Nice and warm. A little bit of crispiness to the top. Maybe we'll cut one open so you can see the crumb. I would expect it. I'm expecting it to be tighter than what you'd get out of, you know, a sourdough round or something. Ooh, I like this one. They're hot. So there you go. It's a pretzel. Look, it's steaming. So 325, that was exactly 15 minutes. It's pretzel-y. It's got a good kind of sour edge, you know, pretzel-y edge to the crust. A little bit hot, but nice crisp crust. Yeah, these are delicious. Yeah, heat them up 15 minutes, 325, and they should be, you know, hot and crispy and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of pretzels today, but they're still really good. I still like them.